In this lesson, we will take a look at Redux. Before we take a look at Redux, let us see what is the need of Redux, or what problem is Redux solving. Here is a React app with the component hierarchy. In this case, we have a reusable profile picture component that is used at different places. Once in the navbar and the other in the settings page. The question would be, where does the state of profile picture reside? Does the state be part of profile picture, or does it get passed into profile picture component as a prop? We can see that since profile picture is being used in different places, the state should be residing in the common ancestor or parent. From the React documentation, you can recall this is being called as lifting the state. The common parent is going to be app, and that is where the state is going to reside and pass down to the profile picture as props. The problem with that is when the state at app component gets updated, every single component is re-rendered because they are all connected to the app component. It would be much better if the state was managed at a central location where any component can access it when it needs it, instead of the state being passed all the way down. So basically, what we need is a state management tool, and that is exactly what Redux is. Redux is a JavaScript library for state management. It is mostly used for React applications, but it can be used with any JavaScript application. Redux is truly beneficial when the app has many components and there is a need to share data between those components. Redux is not the only state management tool, there are many others available. Most popular ones other than the Redux includes Vuex, which is a state management library for Vue.js applications, MobX, and Immer. Before we move on to learning more about Redux, I want to highlight this from the Redux documentation itself. It is important to understand that not every React app requires Redux, and Redux should be cautiously used. If not used in the correct circumstances, it can create more problems that can be difficult to debug. A good rule of thumb is not to use Redux until the need arises. This is more for production applications though. For academic purposes and learning purposes, we will continue our Redux journey. Redux revolves around three core principles: store, actions, and reducers. These are the three things that every Redux application needs. A Redux store is a centralized container that hosts all the state of the application. There is one store per app. Store is also read-only. This means that we cannot modify the store directly. The only way to modify the store is through actions. Actions are simple JavaScript objects that indicate what action must be performed on the store. The final piece of the puzzle is reducer. Reducer is a JavaScript function that takes in the current state and returns a new or updated state. The state is changed based on the actions. So when the store needs to be updated, a reducer function updates it based on actions. Typically, there is one reducer per app as well. This is the flow of a Redux app. A component dispatches an action. The action is then passed on to the reducer to be handled. Based on the action, the reducer is going to update the store with the new state. Once the store is updated, it lets the component know about the new updated state, and the cycle is then completed. Let us look at a simple Redux app that we will use all the three principles that we've discussed.